And what I'm about to show you is one of the more shocking videos we've seen throughout the past few weeks. A small army of supposed militia members converged on the Stone Mountain Monument in Georgia yesterday. Now watch what happened when some of them confronted a white driver.
We ain't no Black Lives Matter, we ain't none of that bullshit. Go ahead, scoot on. We're Black Militia. It's your worst nightmare. Go ahead. We're Black Militia, bro. Nigga, let me talk to the mic for a minute. What are you? I just told you what I was. What are you? What are you is the question. Everywhere you go, you invade, steal, rape, rob, and kill us. Oh, really? Then you steal people's culture, then you have the nerve to have an attitude about it. Where's our reparations? Thank you. Of course. I like the song. It's not what you did. What the ancestors did.
Joining me now is Dr. Wilfred Reilly, Assistant Professor of Political Science at Kentucky State University. Dr. Wilfred, this moment strikes me as a dangerous tipping point. Your thoughts?
I have a great deal of faith in the United States of America, and I don't think we're going to tip into any kind of actual quote-unquote race war or class war. But I mean, this is an election year. I don't think that's a coincidence. And I think you're seeing a lot of the worst instincts people have politically being very intentionally ramped up right now. And that's never good.
Well, you have members of a so-called militia. They all appear to be black, going car window to car window. And a lot of people online were saying, what if the races were reversed? The media would be going crazy about it. I hardly saw it covered at all over the weekend, except online. And it certainly seemed different from what we've seen with protests or even tearing down statues.
Well, I do think there's an element of truth to that. I mean, in my most recent book, Taboo, I look at a lot of these cultural questions in American society. And I mean, one of the things I find that other researchers have found many times before is that the large 75 to 80% majority of those killed by police in a typical year, for example, are Caucasian or Hispanic individuals. And those cases receive less than 20% of the media coverage of police violence. You can look at interracial crime the same way. There's fairly little interracial crime. 93% of black murder victims, 85% of white murder victims are killed by people of the same race. The person most likely to kill you is your ex-wife or current husband. But when you look at interracial crime, that in general slants, say, 80% black on white among those two races. Media coverage slants in the exact opposite direction. And we do have to ask why that is. I mean, what are the biases in the media that cause that slant? I think
Reilly,
you might suspect what some of those are.
Yeah, Dr. Reilly, really quickly, this horrific violence that we've seen as this effort to defund the police has really accelerated. You say, and about 30 seconds, sir, you say that this is one of the great failings and revelations about Black Lives Matter. Explain.
I think that everyone who's not a virulent racist agrees with the statement that Black Lives Matter. But I think a great many black taxpayers and non-racist white Americans are wondering if they agree with the policy goals of the group named after that slogan. And yes, Black Lives Matter right now, if you look at their website, focuses almost entirely on police on black violence and white on black violence. And as I just said, I would love to see much more focus brought to the real problem in black communities, which very often is black on black violence. There are 15,000 murders a year. Half of those victims happen to be black. Just like white murder victims, they're almost all killed by someone of the same race.
Okay. Dr. Reilly, thank you for your perspective tonight. It's really important. Coming up,